Let's start with Java classes. And when I say classes, I don't mean this or this. I mean one of the most fundamental concepts of Java programming, classes. So a class is a blueprint to create objects. And now I'm probably mentioning some other things you don't know about objects. That's always the problem about teaching programming from scratch. Where to begin? It's like finding the very beginning of a yarn of wool. Alright, so objects are instances of classes. And you can compare classes and objects with blueprints of houses, and then the actual houses. The blueprint are the class, they define properties of the eventual houses. The houses are the objects, or sometimes called instances. These instances can have differences amongst each other. They're not the same objects, but separate objects, created based on the same blueprint. Great, so back to Java classes, a blueprint to create objects. You may wonder, what is in such a blueprint? Well, there's pretty much two things in there. We have data and we have actions. Data, also known as variables or properties, are the things that define the project. We'll see this in a minute. Actions, are sometimes called functions, are things that the object can do. There's actually some more details, but it's too early to look at this right now. First, let's move over to IntelliJ and create a simple class. We're going to be creating a class for a bank account. Here's how to create one. First, I'm going to be adding a new Java file, a Java class, and I'm going to call this account. The convention is to do this in the singular form. Alright, so here we have an account. We can see this is a class by the public class account statement. Especially the class keyword is the one that we're looking at here. It defines a class in Java. As I mentioned, classes have properties and actions. Well, let's first think of some properties for an account. Examples of properties of an account could be the owner, the balance, the minimum balance, and much more actually. But let's keep it simple for now. I'm going to give our class the following properties: a owner, a balance, and a minimum balance. So I'm going to say string and then owner. And this means that our account has a piece of text which can be recognized by the word string. And this piece of text is called owner. So right now, our class has one property, owner. There's actually a lot more to this, but let's just leave it like this for now. We're also going to be giving it a balance. So in this case, I'm going to make this a double. And a double is just a decimal number, which is actually something you can definitely not use to deal with money, but for this example, it's just fine. We're also going to be giving it a minimum balance, and also this type is going to be type double. So we're having an account and it has three properties now. Our account has an owner, a balance, and a minimum balance. Can you think of some actions that we need to be able to do with this account? This image can actually serve as some source of inspiration. We can actually withdraw and deposit money to our account. So let's go ahead and create these methods. So where do we create these methods? Well, we have created the properties inside our class account, and that it's inside can be seen by the curly brackets, one on line 3 and one closing on line 7. Everything between the brackets is inside the class. Since these methods are going to be part of the class as well, they need to be inside the curly brackets too. So let's go ahead and create two methods in here. I'm going to be creating a method deposit, and I'm going to say public. Let's create it void for now and call it deposit. At this point, we do need to insert some money here, so I'm just going to say double amount. And the exact implementation, I'm going to leave this empty. This is just a random comment. So what do we see here? We have a method, and it can be recognized as a method in different ways. But for now, just know that when it has a public in front of it, this means that it's accessible. Void means that the method is not returning any value. Deposit is just the name of the method. I could have called this anything, for example x, which doesn't make much sense. It's better to give your methods sensible names that you can actually understand what they're doing by just reading their names. And then you always get two braces. And these braces, they specify the parameter list for the method. In this case, there is one in there. it's an amount and it is of type double, meaning it's a decimal value again. If there are no input parameters, you actually still need a braces, but then there's just simply nothing in between. Alright, more on methods later. Let's also go ahead and give this one a withdraw method, and this is actually something very similar. So I'm just going to say public void withdraw. We need a certain amount that we want to withdraw, and then there is going to be some sort of implementation. For example, we're going to be deducting it from balance, and we're going to check whether it's not going to be lower than the minimum balance, etc. But I'll leave all of this for a later moment. So let's go over our class once more. On top, we define that we're creating a class. It says public class account, meaning this is a class. And actually, I did not code this. IntelliJ did this for me when I created the new Java class. Then I mentioned the different elements a class could have. And classes could contain data and action. Data are the properties of the class. And in our case, these properties are owner, balance, and minimum balance. We also have two actions, one for depositing money and one for withdrawing money. Classes define the blueprint. They're one of the most important building blocks in Java. In this case, we've pretty much created our own type, which is an account. And it has three properties and two methods. We can go ahead and expand this later. For now, let's first see how to actually create instances using this class. Let's go ahead and create some objects in the next video.